that's looking at the market and what buyers are out there and looking for and why they're coming to the area. But I guess on the other side of the coin, it's also looking at the challenges and the pitfalls for sellers in the marketplace.
Yep.
Because I know from speaking to lots of sellers in this area, one of the things that can be quite challenging, especially if they bought the property 10 years ago, have really invested in renovating it and making it theirs. They've got the memories there with when the children have visited, the grandchildren have visited, friends have been over, they've made new friends in the area. There's a lot of emotional attachment in their property.
Definitely.
And that can be quite difficult, I think, for a lot of people when it comes to selling too, because the buyer doesn't have any emotional attachment to it.
No, of course. I mean, as you said, the people that have bought 10, 15 years ago have done those renovations, they've done it to their tastes. They might not have known 15 years ago that they wanted to move now. Of course. And styles change, so that kitchen that they installed 10 years ago might not be the style that's actually currently trending now. And of course, when you've put your heart and soul into it and you've got all those memories there, that you've had fantastic holidays here and people have come to visit and said how amazing your house is, that's really hard to let go of.
Yeah, very much so. I'd be exactly the same, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was with my previous house. There's a lot of emotions there when you live there day in, day out, and you also have this feeling that the next person, you want them to love it as much as you love the house.
Of course, yeah.
So again, you've got that, am I finding the right person that's going to cherish my house the way that I cherish my house? So it can lead to, I think, a feeling of, I've done all this to the property, I want to get as much as I can from that property. So I want this price. This is the price that I want.
Do you know, that's such a common thing as well I hear of people say, but I spent 20,000 euros on this kitchen and I spent 15,000 euros on this bathroom. So therefore it must have gone up by X amount. And of course, it's now a 10-year-old kitchen and a 10-year-old bathroom, which might not fit the taste of the buyer.
Exactly.
So of course the buyer's coming in thinking, I'm going to have to spend 20,000 euros on a kitchen. And it's really interesting to see the dynamics or the differences between thinking with the seller's head on and thinking with the buyer's head on. And I guess that's where we come in, is trying to
marry them both.
Marry them together. Not that we marry our clients off.
No, not at all. But it is, I mean, again, from a buyer's perspective, for me, I'm based in the Lequin Valley. I know the Lequin Valley very well, but a lot of my buyers start in a very wider area. This southern area of Spain, Andalucia. If you do a quick search, there's thousands of properties available.
Well, we did one the other day just to check, and there was, I think, 118,000 properties available, like in that price range for across the whole of Andalusia, and about 6,000-7,000 just in the part of Granada that we operate in. So there's a huge competition out there.
Definitely.
But of course, for a seller, rightly and understandably, the only important thing is their property. Of course, and it's difficult to look at what the other properties have got. We often say, as an agent, we try and converse to understand the buyer's process, understand what, we say take the seller's head off, put the buyer's head on. Understand how you felt. If you can remember back 15 years ago, how did you feel when you were buying? What process did you go through? Because people that are doing it now are doing that same process and more, because the digital world has opened up so far. Completely. It's not the same. It's even just like with the marketing of properties now, I think like having great photos used to be, that was a wonderful thing to have and would make your property stand out. But I think for buyers now, like, if you haven't got great photos, it's just immediately discounted because it becomes almost irrelevant in the market. Oh, there must be something wrong with it. It must be poor quality. And actually, I want something really good quality in this price range. And also the people the buyers that are looking at things like this, they are in the digital world. They'll want videos. An engagement with a video more than 80% than compared with photos. And as a buyer, if you put your head into the buyer's mindset, I'm paying 500,000 plus for this house.
I want to see it, I want to feel it. I don't just want static photographs of this room. I want to explore going through.
And nothing worse than when someone takes the static photos and just tries to do a sort of 90s style pan and zoom and pretend it's a video.
Yeah.
Oh, the feedback I get from that is horrendous.
Yes, I've seen a few of those where it's like this picture and this picture, and we'll zoom in and zoom out. And again, you know, when they look at the videos, they want to experience the walkthrough of, well, where is that in comparison to this? Where's the fridge in comparison? Is it styled right for me? If you've got that video, and you can play it from the outside, going in, exploring inside, you can actually see, especially when there's someone presenting it, how large the room is, because you can tell, you know, the person's...
Yeah, compared to the person there.
Yeah,
no, that's great. I certainly see a lot of that, and of course, I mean, it's awful to say, you know, I'm certainly not in the job of putting other agents down, but some of the comments I get from people who laugh about the sort of wobbly, drunken camera shot that some people have tried to do for properties, and it's, I just think, how is that in the best interest of the seller?
I know. I've got quite a few comments with regard. We've had a lot of discussions about this, where a dark photograph took with a phone, but you'll see the reflection in the mirror of the person that's doing it, which is
it's often difficult to do when you've got big glass windows and things.
You have to angle yourself correctly, or you know, there was a dog somewhere, or there's like bits and pieces, or some slippers or some packets somewhere.
I did see one actually just recently that it was a €495,000 property. Why 495, not 500? It just sort of says I'm not very confident about my pricing. But it had in the bottom corner the little stamp from the
date.
The actual name, like the brand of the mobile phone that they're taking. Is like, please don't advertise you using your mobile phone to take a picture of a €500,000 property. It's like we're not in the 80s with our happy snappy camera.
No, or the Polaroids. I mean, I definitely think that the buyers are looking for that. The buyers are more digitally savvy now. They want that experience, and as a seller, you need to promote the house above all. You know, we've just said 6,000 or 7,000 in this area of houses. What needs to be done differently for your house to market it above the rest?
Yeah, you've definitely, for sellers, they've got to stand head and shoulders above everything else. It's often buyers are just swiping and swiping and swiping, and if you haven't got that kind of thumb stopper player video, if you've got a great video and there's 10, 20 properties similar that haven't, you stand out. You attract more interest.
Yeah, it is a bit like I mean, we've said it before in the office, it's like Tinder for houses.
It is, yeah.
And we've all done it. I do it a lot, where I'm sat on an evening and it's like, ooh, that one's nice. And you know what? It's the video that captures it. Oh, that's interesting. I want to look at this one. So yeah, you do need to stand out. You need to promote yourself above and by far above and beyond the rest.
Well, and I know I've had conversations with some sellers who are a bit concerned about having a video. They're, but you know, does that mean I've heard things like I need to take all my personal pictures down and this, that and the other, have my house staged and things like this. And I think there is definitely merit in that, but it's not that difficult to prepare a house for video, is it?
It isn't, no. I mean, there is things that you can stage, and we give advice before we go there. So there's advice could be given that how to stage your house properly. Having plants in there is a really good thing. Having all the windows open and the persianas up to make it really light.
Photos and videos with persianas down.
And if you're selling a house of that calibre at 500 plus, people want to see that there is light in that house.
I think also it's about trust as well. If you're looking at property at €500,000 and
it's dark,
the agent couldn't be bothered to open the persiana, it's like it doesn't engender much trust in that the agents checked the paperwork properly. They've made sure that things are working correctly. It's really poor.
I mean, I think the sellers that we talk to, we happily give free advice on what you need to do. What's the best thing to do to make your house stand out above the rest? They are key things you can do, but also with the tools we use now digitally, a lot of the AI things, if there's something that can't be removed and it is a personal item, we can blank it out.
It's easy enough to do.
Yeah.